The first impression that comes to our mind about any college: tall buildings, big classrooms, large lobby areas, thick books, IT labs, assignments, class tests, and projects, nothing besides that. Every hour, minute, second spent here help us carving and shaping our persona, cultivating innovative mindsets for the challenging world. Learning is a lifelong process. Sharing knowledge, inculcating values of life, spark the innovative horizons of mind. Fun and frolic is the nature of every nook and corner here. A daily dose of thrill we are sure to get here.
Good morning, everyone. I am Krishna Pandey, Assistant Professor, DME Media School, and I welcome you to this session on Career in Media. The session will focus on public relations as an industry and professional prospects and opportunities for our students. Now, I invite Professor Dr. Amrish Saxena, Dean DME Media School, to introduce the session.
Thank you, Krishna ma'am. This session, this series that we have actually planned, we have named it as Careers in Media because we all know the kind of situation we all are passing through. So these are the times then students need our help more as compared to the normal times. Though it's primarily, since we are an educational institution, it's our primary responsibility to do whatever we can for the benefit of the students in terms of delivery, in terms of academics, and also in terms of counseling them, guiding them with regard to their future career and placement. So, since like any other institution, we have this placement cell which works under Krishna Pandey and T. Nambora is there. So they mobilize the students, provide them all kind of guidance as to what they wish to after having this bachelor's degree, this BJMC from DME. This is a bachelor's program in journalism and mass communication, which is offered by Guru Govind Singh Indraprastha University. And the students have a choice in terms of subjects. I mean, different subjects are taught in different semesters, and then students have a choice in terms of the elective papers and all. So they are having exposure to all kind of media or all branches of media, whether we call it public relations or advertising or journalism or radio broadcasting or television broadcasting or event management or research. So many areas open up. So what we decided that since these students are in the sixth semester, and I refer to the kind of time we are passing through, there are a number of such opportunities which are not seen in sight because of the situation outside. But then a lot of opportunities have opened up in the digital media. So the students, depending on their interest, depending on their choice about their career, they can opt for whether PR or journalism or advertising and all. So we thought that we should invite the who's who of the industry and the experts who have attained something big in their career in a particular stream. Like as in today's session, which is on PR, we have invited a very eminent person who has made an immense contribution in the PR industry, Mr. Majumdar, Mr. Bhaskar Majumdar. So we feel that if we invite such kind of experts, then the students are bound to be benefited, and they will have more clarity as to what they might be doing after 3 months or so when they appear in their final exam, and then when they enter the job market. Also, such kind of lectures, as we can foresee and as we have conceived, will be helpful to students who are not entering the job market immediately after obtaining this bachelor's degree, they might be opting for a specialized course. So in most of the streams in media, right from PR to advertising to journalism, there are different kind of specialized courses which are available in prestigious institutions in the country. So the students will also be benefited that way, since they will get more insight into the subject that will help them in taking their decisions about their further studies in a particular stream or in a particular discipline of media. So that has been the main idea behind organizing this careers in media series. And this is the first edition or the first session in this series. And I think it will make a good beginning, and it will really be fruitful. It will be beneficial to all those who are there in session and are actively participating in this session. Thank you all. Thank you, Mr. Bhaskar, to be with us in this session. Thank you, Krishna ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. In a series of sessions on career in media, today we are going to focus on public relations as an industry. And who could be the best to guide us but Mr. Bhaskar Majumdar, Head Corporate Affairs, Communication and Digital, Aegis India. Mr. Majumdar has been nominated for the prestigious second edition of E4M PR and Corporate Communication, and has also been recognized as among the top 100 influential game changers list of 2020. Mr. Majumdar is a strategic communication professional for more than 2 decades of experience in corporate communication, crisis communication, issue management, public policy, strategic planning, brand building, collateral development, CSR events, digital social media outreach, and content creation. He is also a strategic planner with experience in managing multiple projects and campaigns under tight deadlines spread across various time zones. Mr. Majumdar has worked with Reliance Industries as General Manager Corporate Communication, ESPN Star Sports as Manager Corporate Communication, and has also worked with communication agencies like Genesis PR, Vaishnavi Corporate Communication, APCO Worldwide, and Ad Factors PR. He is also a member of various associations like Asia Pacific Association of Communication Directors. He is a life member of Public Relations Council of India, member of Association of Business Communicators of India, member of Public Relations Consultants Association of India. He is also member of Indo-French Chamber of Commerce and Industry and European Business Group. The list seems to be endless. However, without wasting any more time, I welcome Mr. Bhaskar to this session of Career in Public Relations. The session will be followed by question and answers moderated by Dr. Teenam Bora. Students are requested to write the questions in the chat box. Over to you, Mr. Bhaskar.
So thanks, Krishna ma'am, for the introduction, and I hope everyone is safe and healthy. These are trying times, and everyone has to be very cautious. And as Ambarish sir has said, I would like to have today's session on digital transformation only, because that has impacted communication industry as a whole in a lot of ways. And when I say communication means journalism as well as corporate communication, as well as communication in PR agencies. Because when a journalist is writing a story, he is basically trying to communicate with his readers with facts and figures and an overview of a particular environment. And when it comes to communication from the other side, which is PR agencies and corporate communication, I think both the sides, they always try to showcase their brands in a better way in front of their stakeholders. The stakeholders can be anyone. Now, and unfortunately, COVID has fast forwarded the digital transformation, and the adaptation of digital media as well as social media has become very relevant and critical now. I mean, all of a sudden, work from home has started, and virtual meetings and email interaction has become a reality and the new normal, and that has impacted almost every type of communication in today's world. Now, I mean, whatever I'm going to say, I'm not a regular teacher. Whatever I'm going to share is my experience of 23 years working with, agency side, corporate side. I worked with reputed agencies. I worked with corporates or brands like ESPN, Star Sports, Reliance, as well as agents. Now, every brand has their own type of, own way of, communicating. A B2B brand and a B2C brand have completely different stakeholders and way of functioning. It lot depends on their products and services. Now, first I would like to start with journalism, and I would just like to share few examples which I've seen last 6 to 7 years. There was a time when whenever we used to pitch for a story, the story is to get in the next day's newspaper, and if they're quite strong with their website, then the next day in the evening maybe the story will appear in the online version. But suddenly, in last 4 to 5 months of time, whenever you pitch for a story, the story appears in the Twitter handle of the media house, followed by the Twitter handle of the journalist, and simultaneously in their website. And by the time it appears in the next day's newspaper, the news is already stale. So that's how digital transformation or social media has impacted journalism in a way. And also, I used to handle a lot of auto clients, and every client, every brand always wants to get featured in Economic Times. I still remember 6 to 7 years back, whenever we used to talk about any auto story, there used to be 2 to 3 journalists covering auto from Delhi Economic Times Bureau. There used to be 2 to 3 journalists sitting in Bombay Bureau covering auto. But in last 1 year, the situation has changed, and now there is only one single journalist covering auto in Delhi, and there is another one in Bombay who is covering other beats also. Whereas in the digital version of Economic Times, which is ET Auto, they have got 17 journalists. So now there are two reasons for it. One, uh, digital writing and print writing is very, very different, in a very different format. In print, you have got always the restriction of pages, whereas in web format, there is no restriction, and you can have multiple stories on a multiple brand. So maybe that has prompted the publication houses to take the digital versions in a more serious way. So journalism has actually seen a lot of change during this COVID time, and uh, practically the press conferences, which used to be physical press conferences, and as a old school PR guy, I always used to think that personal meeting, face to face meeting, and relationship only happens when you meet up with a journalist. But unfortunately, with the lockdown and the COVID time, things have changed, and the new breed of journalists or the people who have joined recently in journalism and also in PR, they prefer to have virtual interaction. I mean, good, bad, ugly, how that's going to pan out, one can always say that, after 3 to 4 years, when either things get normalizes or this normal becomes the new normal. So one has to actually wait for another 1 year's time that how it happens. I still prefer that, one-to-one interaction and personal interactions help a lot, because uh, whenever there is any kind of communication, I think the relationship matters, be it public relation, be it investor relation, be it events. The common factor is relationship. So I somehow feel that, with COVID and with digital transformation, that personal touch is losing its essence. But similarly, it's opening a lot of doors. Like, from print journalism to web journalism, there is huge opportunity, huge. Now, I still speak with few friends of mine in print media, and their thought of functioning of print media has also changed. So earlier there used to be they used to go and cover a story, or they used to do a investigative journalism on a particular um, uh, business house or a business environment, and it used to appear as a print news. Now the focus is more on videos as well as creatives, because even I mean, if you guys, I'm sure that you guys are quite accustomed with Twitter or LinkedIn and YouTube. Because this is my personal experience that I also handle the digital communication for my company. So whenever there is any video or any creative which has been posted in the Twitter handle or the LinkedIn handle, the organic amplification or the eyeball or the footfall is much more than the text. So one has to understand that there is a critical need for the new breed of journalists to understand the video format, the creative format. If if not that, they have to do it on their own, but they have to have that understanding that they can sync with the other departments to get it done. So any kind of communication is now ruled by the digital format. Now, be it LinkedIn, be it Twitter, and be it Facebook, even or Insta, is now considered as a a kind of communication, as well as for the media house and also for the communication guys. Because if there is a particular news which is relevant for younger generation, the publication houses like, Economic Times or New Indian Express or Hindu, they have their Twitter handles, their LinkedIn handles, their Insta handles. Right? So feature stories, which used to be in Daily Times earlier or HT City earlier, has now taken over Instagram. So that's how the digital transformation has happened in the journalism side, and I'm sure that there are a lot of things which are going to change more. As I said, that anyone who is planning to explore the journalism side has to have the basic understanding of how creatives and videos are being made. Another very important aspect is podcast. A lot of these publication houses has suddenly started this new idea of podcasting their interviews rather than putting it in a video format or a audio format, because work from home and lockdown has also increased the usage of internet, and a lot of times video formats is not something which people can easily use because of the uh, huge usage and also internet problems, and podcast is more easier way. So as I said, all, I mean, the people who were going for journalism has to pick up the new trends. Their understanding of social media has to be very good, because social media actually gets the organic amplification for any particular story. Now, when it comes to corporate, I think the way of functioning of corporate has also changed. 7 to 8 years back or 10 years back, when I used to be with Reliance, corporate communication used to be like planning certain activities, and mostly 80% used to be media relation. Although again, as I said, a B2B company and a B2C company have different requirements, but the generic idea of corporate commission department used to be more focused on media relation. Now with COVID and obviously with a lot of cuts in different departments, the roles and responsibility of the corporate commission department has increased multifold. Now the corporate commission department handles CSR also, they handle public policy also, they handle digital also, they handle secondary research also. So the work sphere of the corporate commission department has increased multifold. Now, how to get used to all this kind of department is something one has to acquire extra skills to understand and maintain those portfolios also. Like in our company, the internal communication and employee engagement, CSR, public policy, secondary research, website management, digital, social media handles, blogs, everything comes under the corporate commission department. So the role of the corporate commission department has changed huge way in last 6 to 7 months of time. Also, I think the opportunity in communication, especially in the corporate commission department, is more uh, because of COVID. I think most of the brands have become very cautious on spending money. And when I say spending money, most of the companies, especially B2C companies and FMCG companies, used to spend a lot on their marketing activities, which can be advertising, which can be sponsoring events, which can be road shows, which can be events. Now all of a sudden, with this uncertainty in the business environment, uh, companies which may be making profit have also become very cautious, and suddenly the marketing spend has decreased drastically. I will not name brands, but I know FMCG brands which has cut their marketing spend by 70%. Now, when I say 70%, it's a huge cut. Now, fortunately, unfortunately, marketing departments generally they work on paid, engagements, which is either TVC or radio spots or print ads. Now, when the company is a bit reluctant or careful or cautious on spending money, but on the same hand, the brand wants to need some kind of engagement with the stakeholders. There lies the opportunity for corporate commission guys, because suddenly I've seen in last 1 year's time, apart from the marketing spends going down, the marketing team is also getting shorter. Whereas if you compare with corporate commission team, the corporate commission team is actually becoming bigger. So small companies like us, I mean, which is a completely B2B company, which doesn't have much requirement for communication, and that's why there are multi-functions which are added to the communication team, has decided to go for another three members. Earlier, I mean, in the last 3 years, there used to be only one person who used to manage the corporate communication team, and now in last 3 months of time, we're almost 6 to 7 member team. Because of a simple reason that the marketing spends had decreased and the company has decided not to advertise like they used to do in a pro-COVID area. But communication, engagement, and branding has to go on, and the added responsibility has been given to corporate communication team. So I think in a way, COVID has been good for the communication industry, especially the corporate communication industry. For example, in last 3 to 4 months of time, there are something around 36 or 37 new positions which have been created. And when I'm saying new positions have been created in communication, I'm talking about companies like Facebook, Google, Johnson and Johnson, TVS Motors, Maruti. So every big brand and brands which used to spend heavily on marketing earlier has suddenly started, hiring senior guys in the corporate commission department. So in a way, the industry or the outlook for corporate communication, I think, will be good for the next 3 to 4 years of time. And again, as I said, for journalism also, these are only assumptions, and one can always pray that things happen in a better way and everything is in a everything creates a positive environment for all departments or all industries. But I think another 1 year time or 2 year time will be something which people will look up to understand how the industry is going to progress. Also in the agency side, I mean every businesses and everyone linked to their businesses have felt that pinch or pain of COVID and the lockdown. But I think when I say agencies, PR agencies especially, in the recent study which has been released by Provoke Media, which is a international industry body for agencies. There is a decrease of 3 to 4%, but that is more for the fluctuation of dollar in the industry. Whereas if you compare about number of clients or revenue for big agencies, they have actually grown, and the growth is almost 7 to 14%, which is huge. In a normal circumstance, also 7 to 14% is something which any PR agency will look up to. When I'm talking about international agencies like Edelman or MSL or AVN or even Genesis and Adfactors, which is the biggest agency, they all have done well in terms of revenue and in terms of getting new businesses. And when I say getting new businesses, there were companies which used to ignore or never focus on communication earlier, and their more focus was on brand building and marketing spend. And suddenly have decided that to take up agencies also to play the role of the marketing guys. Now that there lies a huge opportunity for the agencies also. Now brands B2B or B2C brands, especially B2C brands, there are multiple brands who used to work without a PR agency for almost 7 to 8 years. Now, in last 1 year of time, almost 80% of them have hired agencies, and they have hired agencies of repute, or which are going to charge them a bomb. So I think the scenario and the mindset of the promoters as well as the management, senior management for every company, either it's a Indian promoter-driven company or it's a MNC, is drastically changing in especially into Indian environment. Right now, when I say that journalism, corporate communication agency, I think all three of them are going to be in a positive side after COVID and because of the digital transformation which is going to happen now, which is already happening, and which is going to happen more faster at a much more faster growth in maybe another 6 to 7 months of time. So in terms of all these three functions, I think the outlook will be very good. Now the issue is that in every aspect, either journalism or corporate communication or agencies, I think the need will be acquiring new skill set and reskilling everyone. Like, as I said, I come from an old school of PR. My thought process and my writing style used to be very different. My writing style used to be more suited for a print media. Now suddenly I have to acquire this new concept called new age content writing. And when I say new age content writing, when someone told me, someone as young as you guys, someone told me, I was like, this is something new which I've never heard of. But when I understood the concept, I was in agreement that this is something which is going to rule for another 1 year's time. So the concept is that whenever you're writing a say edit piece or an authored article for a spokesperson, either from the agency side or from the corporate commission side, that that particular writing has to be in a snackable snack. So that can be broken down into a blog of 400 words, that can be broken down into a LinkedIn post, that can be broken down in multiple tweets, that can be broken down in multiple, Insta photos or Insta photo features. So that is what the new age content strategies means. Now, when someone told me, I had a long debate because, as I said, that my thought process is very different, and the requirement from today's scenario and the environment is very different. So this is something one anyone who's going to either journalism or anyone who's planning to explore opportunities, corporate commission department, and anyone who's going to explore opportunities, PR agencies has to have a skill set for them. New age content strategy, as I explained, the content has to be in such a format that can be broken down in various platforms. Second, understanding of creatives or understanding of videos is very much necessary. Nowadays, there are multiple tools which are available in the internet. One can easily download it. I mean, someone like me who's not very tech savvy has downloaded and I've created videos on my own from still photographs. Now, I'm sure that someone with half my age has the age of understanding it and presenting it in a more creative way. So these are two skill set I think is very much important for journalism as well as communication department. So coming back to this thing, the industry which is going to get hit in a big way in communication is the event environment. I mean, there are multiple agencies which are doing very good in a pre-COVID area when there used to be multiple events. Brands like Samsung or brands like Maruti used to organize events where they used to have press conferences as well as events to cater to their customers as well as their dealers. Now that particular industry has taken a hit, and anyone planning or having any kind of interest in moving into event side, this will not be the right time to go because the physical events has turned into virtual ones, and the spending from the client side and the revenue or the profit from a particular event has almost gone down to zero. So it's more of survival for big agencies, big event agencies, which used to do earlier. Even in PR agencies, a lot of big PR agencies used to have their full scale uh, event division, which is to work hand in hand with the servicing team. So in my previous company, when I was to work with Ad Factors, I used to handle Samsung. So I used to have a content team, I used to have an advertising team, I used to have an event team. So anyone exploring that particular area has to be very cautious that whether you want to explore that side or not, because that has become completely digital. And when I say digital, the spend, costing, profit, everything has been marginalized completely, right? So in a way, maybe in another 6 months of time or in a year's time, I think the lucrative industry one should look forward to is either the corporate side, which is the corporate commission or the branding team of various companies. And trust me, there are a lot of openings which are opening up. I mean, if you go and check out the jobs in LinkedIn, there are at least 8 to 10 big companies who are hiring either freshers or people with 1 year of experience or people with 2 years of experience. Because the reliability on marketing and the reliability on advertising agencies is going down. Even in advertising, gone are the days of releasing 10 print ads in economic times. Now rather people they prefer to use smaller mediums or minimum spend on advertising. And also advertising has also moved into digital side. So my friends and my ex colleagues who are working with ONM or Lintas or any other big agency has said that suddenly the concept of print ads is almost gone, and YouTube ads or social media ads like Insta ads or LinkedIn post with good visuals is something which is now prevailing. So that is another skill set which one is to acquire. So advertising still have a better prospect because uh, FMCG companies or B2C companies have to spend money and they have to reach out to their stakeholders And when they say stakeholders, the stakeholders are not only the young generation or millennials, their stakeholders are people like me also, who are not very well versed with digital media, but rely on print, or still rely on mailers, or still rely on SMS campaigns. So that possibility for the advertising side would be always there. But in all the industries, when I said communication, I think the corporate communication and the PR agency side has more lucrative outlook for next at least 2 to 3 years of time, and one should actually explore those options. And side by side, one has to, as I said, that they have to acquire different skill sets to to be in a comfortable position to manage the client expectations, or if you're working in a corporate commission department, the senior management's expectation. Now, there is another thing which is added in corporate commission department. Earlier, there used to be content writers who used to be considered as the back end team for communication. Now suddenly they have become the integral part of the communication team, because as I said that because of the lockdown and because of work from home, everything has become very digital, everything has become very catchy, everything needs very high quality and catchy content. And that is where the I think the opportunity lies. Uh, the new age strategic communication or new age content strategy is something which I think every professional, either it's PR or journalism or in advertising, one has to acquire. And I think in a way to understand how writing used to happen, there are 2 3 different books. Hindu publishes certain books which has got the complete data of all edit pieces and authored articles starting from, say, I think 67 till now. They've got 5 volumes. I think that is something one should read, because that gives you a lot of information how things used to happen and how you can adopt those things in a newer environment. Is there anything else people want to ask?
In fact, we can start the question answer session. But before that, I think our director, Dr. Ravikant Swami, is also here.
Yeah.
Sir?
It has been very nice listening to you, sir. And well, as far as the students are concerned, I can only tell them that when a few options are closed, then double that options are always opened up. As we traditionally say, when God closes one door, He opens two. So same is happening in the media industry as well.
Yeah.
Yes, theaters are closed, but at the same time, so many other options have opened up. And this OTT platform, it has become such a big platform that now the biggies of our industry, they are also thinking of coming to this platform. Like the biggies were hesitant to enter this OTT platform, but now they are left with no other option. So for the media students, I can only add that the OTT platform has now become synonymous with media, and a large number of new and innovative options are now open for placements and for your careers. Thank you.
I agree, sir. About taking a clue to what you said, suddenly there are companies like InShots and other companies which has come into prominence. Now, InShots is an app which I'm also using. They give you multiple news in only 60 words or maybe in one paragraph. So if print media is going down, I'm sure, as you said, there are multiple other avenues which are opening up.
Now I invite Tinam Bora to moderate the question answer session.
Hello, sir. So we have a few questions from our students. Avantika has a question. She's asking that if, given that there is so much change in the print media scenario, she asks that, don't you think if this continues, the quality of print journalism might get hampered?
Not really, because see, at the end of the day, anything. I mean, this scenario is going in for almost 2 years of time. and maybe the media mix for advertisers or corporate commission department has changed. Earlier it used to be 70% traditional media, 30% new media. Now it's almost 60-40. But I think print is not going to go down. The relevance for print media or traditional media will be always there. See, there are two things. One, people like me will always rely on print media, because of a simple reason that any particular news which is going to get published in, say, Times of India or Economic Times is going through a lot of processes, lot of checks. So the scope for fake news or infactual points or facts getting published in a print media is bare minimum. It's almost zero. Whereas in web media or social media, as I said, that paid media has become a big issue now. Anyone can actually spend money and get any type of story in social media and digital media, which is not the possibility in print. So the relevance of print will be always there. In fact, my view will be that the quality of print will be much better than earlier, because any journalist who's filing a print story has to work twice hard to make it more interesting, so that the young generation they move from tradition from the digital media and get hooked to print media.
Right. Thank you, sir. So there's another question that you had mentioned about new corporate communication jobs that have been created. So could you please throw light on the same? What are these jobs? How can one apply? And what is the procedure to follow?
See, the availability of jobs is in the market. It's in the industry as any other job is, right? So, giving example, like any company which is to have, in general, whenever there is a corporate commission team which has been built in a big corporate, they generally try to take people starting from 6 to 7 years of experience, maybe 2 or 3 people in the department, and maybe a senior guy with 15 to 18 years of experience to manage the communication. But nowadays, all of a sudden, the big companies like Google, Facebook, auto brands have started taking freshers, because the reliability on agencies or reliability on the marketing agency or ad agencies has gone down, and there has given that possibility of filling that gap, right? So if you look in last 1 year's time, I think the maximum number of corporate communication jobs in big corporates has happened. 80% of them happened in the area of freshers and with people of 1 to 2 years of experience. Now, where do you get these jobs? Most of the jobs are available in LinkedIn. As I said, digital transformation has happened in a big way. So most of the jobs are now not available in maybe a print ad or any other ad, but LinkedIn is something where all the jobs are available. So one can easily take that premium membership of LinkedIn, which is, I think, 1,400 or 1,500 most probably, and it lists down all the jobs available, and you can actually search by city, you can search by qualification, you can search by package, you can search by capabilities they're looking at. But the only issue is a lot of the corporates who are opening up the new openings are not very clear that what the KRA will be. So especially for the students, they should actually, before applying anywhere, they should be very much clear about what exactly they want to do. Because sometimes it's happened, you want to do something else and you end up doing something else, and there is a mismatch of expectation and what exactly you're doing. And then generally how it happens that I'm not enjoying my work, and then you move on. My sincere suggestion would be, especially in a post-COVID area, wherever you join, one should at least give 1 and 1.5 years of time.
All right. So another student, Chavi Mathur, she's asking, what experience should one look for to acquire a job in corporate communications initially? And what is the best related course to pursue for a future in communications?
See, I think the basic requirement is something which has been in all communication schools they teach. The added skill set as a beginner should be the digital understanding. There are multiple courses either in Coursera or Upgrade or even NIIT, which they're providing, which are very small, 2 months, 3 months of courses, more of giving you the basic understanding. And as I've seen in my journey of 23 years, you can learn multiple things, but you actually learn the main thing when you're actually in the job. So different work or different assignments or different, campaigns make you understand what are the, do's and don'ts for a particular work. But as I said, digital is something one should acquire, and there are multiple short courses which are available, which may not be perfect, but which will at least give you that extra edge that you understand how social media or digital media it actually works.
Okay. So for someone who has a bachelor's in journalism and mass communication, would you recommend that person to pursue a master's before venturing into the field, or maybe gain their experience from the field itself?
See, what I have seen, I think I will never discourage anyone, studying further. But nowadays, the issue is that, apart from your education qualification, you need to show some kind of experience also to get into any kind of corporate or any agency. And I think that also helps you to be better equipped to take up any job. So I think study and jobs both has to go hand in hand. And sincerely, I think if someone is doing journalism, they should first, try journalism, and then later on the second option should be corporate communication. For a very basic reason, I'll give you a very basic, and this is something one should not discuss, but still I'll say, when someone joins journalism, maybe the pay package is not very much. I mean, it may not be as per your expectation. But once you have, spent 6 months or 7 months of time, or maybe 1 year, and then you want to switch on to corporate commission agency, generally the pay scale is much more higher. So, I mean, agency or a corporate commission department, whatever they're going to offer to a fresher, they are going to offer at least double or triple to someone who is coming with a journalistic background. So if someone is doing journalism, my personal suggestion would be you should pursue journalism. And trust me, it's something which you'll like to do for the initial 3-4 years, till the time, responsibilities is poured in and you need more money, and then you can think of, moving to some other business vertical.
So we have another question from our student Mohsin Alkab. He's asking, does length matter in web content and print content writing? And if so, web content and print content writing. And if so, why and how does it impact the readers?
Link in the sense, I didn't get it.
Length.
See, to be very frank, I still remember when I got my first laptop in 2000, I was so happy, right? And now I rarely open my laptop. I think in last 5 days of time, this is the first time I opened my laptop. I generally use for my mobile only. So the screen size is getting smaller, and so is the attention span. And that is the reason that, lengthy or, 600, 800 words of articles or stories is something people are not going to read, right? Twitter is something which everyone uses, and that has got, specific characters to key in. So that is where this new apps like, InShots and others are coming in, which is, news in 60 words, news in 80 words. I think crisp and short writing, making it sensible and touching key points is more important than a feature or a big story one can write. Case in point, out of all the publication houses, I think Mint is the only publication house which generally tends to write big feature stories like half page, full page. But suddenly the readership and circulation of Mint has gone down. So maybe the young generation, or maybe generation like us, are a bit reluctant to go through a 600 word article. So in ideal condition, it should be a 60 or 80 word catchy small paragraph with a link to a bigger story. So if someone gets hooked to that particular story and wants to read further, they can always use that link to go to the bigger story.
All right. So I think I would like to hand it over to Krishna ma'am now.
Mr. Bhaskar, you and I have a question. So because we're talking about corporate communication, so do you think the relevance of a PR agency for job prospect has gone down?
Not really. In fact, in last 1 year of time, there are at least 7 to 8 new PR agencies which has emerged. So, and the rationale behind is a very different one. There was a time when there used to be big PR agencies which used to handle everything, every type of business. And suddenly in last, say 1 year time or 6 months of time, there is this emergence of boutique PR agencies specializing in one thing, like small PR agency working only on healthcare, small PR agency only working on lifestyle, small PR agency which is only handling IPOs. Now the emergence of this new trend will be more. And as I said, like unlike advertising, PR industry has actually grown in India. So the prospect of PR agency will be always there. See, the corporate side can always hire 3 extra people in the department, but that cannot substitute the work the PR agencies do. Case in point, like I head a communication team in Aegis India, and I have got operations in 43 locations in India. Now, for me, practically, it's impossible for me to, work in all these 43 locations or hire someone in these 43 locations, right? But whereas if I hire a PR agency, the PR agency, a mid-sized PR agency will at least have 18 to 20 different offices. So the rationale of hiring that PR agency is also to have access to those 18 offices. So the prospect for agency work will always go up. I don't think it's going to go down, but yes, the traditional way of functioning of PR agencies is going to go down, and it will be more of adding new, avenues. Like, earlier, no PR agency used to have a content team, a full-fledged content team. There used to be only one guy or two guy. Now, big agencies have hired teams as big as 15 people in their content team. So I think the prospect and the outlook will be, is going to be good for agencies going forward.
One last question that just want to find out some, as you said, content is something that is going to rule, and those who are good in content will do very well in Corpcom and PR. But what about others who have a brain for strategy making or who are good into pitching and talking? That means, is there no career for these people in PR?
See, it goes hand to hand. Content alone cannot be the communication for any brand, right? So how to use a particular content in Twitter or a LinkedIn or a blog or a press release or a video format comes from a strategic thought which has to happen. And the strategic thought has to happen not only in execution, it has to happen in terms of what the mission and vision of the company is, what the outlook of the business for that particular brand or the industry. So I think strategic thought process is always there. You cannot take away from it. What I was talking about content is more of at the execution level, right? So it has to go hand to hand. If strategic inputs or strategic thought is not relevant, then people like me will become obsolete.
Okay, thank you so much for such an insightful session. Now I invite Professor Dr. Sushmita Bala, Head DME Media School, to share her thoughts on the session. Ma'am.
Mr. Bhaskar, thank you for sparing precious time for us.
Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Sir, before we wrap up the session, Amrish sir, your last words on the session. So please unmute.
In fact, throughout the lecture, I was noting down something or the other because whenever you are listening a senior person, a professional, then obviously that's an opportunity to learn something or the other. Particularly, I want to make a mention of the last things that Mr. Majumdar, you said, between advertising and the PR, the kind of changes which are happening right now in the Corona period, particularly, how the PR has grown and how the PR has diversified in terms of the agencies focusing on niche areas, and all this was something obviously which I was not knowing. So I have noted down a lot of such things which were new to me and which has enhanced my knowledge. So I believe everybody would have benefited that way by your lecture. Thank you for that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It has been an honor and privilege to have you, Mr. Bhaskar, with us today. And
pleasure is all mine, ma'am.
Thank you, sir, for taking out your valuable time and sharing your thoughts and experience with our students. I'm sure it must have enriched their knowledge a lot, and they will start preparing for themselves for corporate communication and PR. I also thank Dr. Amrish Saxena, Dean DME Media School, and Dr. Sushmita Bala, Head DME Media School, for allowing us to conduct this session. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. And I also wish to thank the technical team and the faculty members who have supported me in this. Anmol sir, Sumantra sir, Dr. Tina Mbora, Sachin sir, thank you so much for all your support. And above all, thank you to all those students who have participated in this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
And final thank you to Ravikant Swami sir for joining here and encouraging us also. Thank you, sir.
Thanks everyone. Thank you.
The first impression that comes to our mind about any college: tall buildings, big classrooms, large lobby areas, thick books, IT labs, assignments, class tests, and projects. Nothing besides that. Every hour, minute, second spent here help us carving and shaping our persona, cultivating innovative mindsets for the challenging world. Learning is a lifelong process. Sharing knowledge, inculcating values of life, spark the innovative horizons of mind. Fun and frolic is the nature of every nook and corner here. A daily dose of thrill we are sure to get here.